So usually what I like to do is just start with an audio track, because then you can just jump straight into the sample library and just search for literally anything you want. Can anyone think of just a random word off the top of their head?
Car.
A car. Okay, I'm not sure if that would come up. Maybe. I mean, none of them were downloaded. Maybe. Bike.
Bongo.
Bongo. Okay. Yeah, that would work better. That's pretty cool. So I think we might actually start with that because that's a cool beat. I'm gonna put the tempo up to 130. Oh, I need to actually drag it. So I'll put it up to 130. I'm also going to, I think you guys maybe covered this before, I'm just going to loop this section so I don't have to drag the playhead back every time I want to listen to it. So that's, okay, that's maybe a bit fast. I'll put it back down to where it was. Dance music, you can have it between, you can really go as low as say 110 and as high as 150 depending on what you're trying to do. I'll just do 110 for this example. And that sounds really cool. And then I'm gonna say maybe violin. Not that inspiring. Sax. So I'll throw this on here, and usually what I do is instead of just taking the sample, because you could technically just go into the sample and drop anything that you wanted onto the project, and you could say, hey, I've got a track. That's fine, there's nothing wrong with that, but if you want to make it a bit more interesting and authentic to what you'd like to hear, then there's a lot of things you can do. You can actually just chop up the clip. You can even just take one hit from this sample. So I'm going to chop it, I'm going to use Command T. That's another thing worth noting is that when you guys are using this, if you are familiar with the shortcuts within the program, it means that you can get an idea that you hear in your head down into the program a lot faster because you're not having to move your mouse all around these different places. So I'm just going to cut that bit out here. I'm going to start with this note here. And I'm going to pitch it to something like strange, but we'll persevere with it. So if I go into the effects section, I'm going to add, so I'm going to click on plugins here, and I'm just going to add, this is what I did the other day with the other class, which is showing them you can just add a decent amount of reverb to sort of give a feel for the track, and then we'll add something else, maybe like we'll go with guitar, different. That sounds a bit more like it fits. And if you want to kind of have the track starting a little bit more subdued and not as present or obvious, this is what I'd done in the previous track, which I can show you. We're basically choosing an effect within the EQ, which is one of the plugins, and we're going to change what it's doing over time. So, channel EQ. Oh, here we go. So this is to kind of help you see what's happening here. So I've got the drums. I'll just play them on their own. So you can hear everything in the drums. You can hear the full body spectrum of the frequencies. But if I click this little notch here, and I drag it down, it's going to be cutting all of the sound where the pink shade is, if that makes sense. So if I now play it, and it will tell you exactly, so it's cutting exactly where that line goes. All of the pink, you're not hearing that at all. And what we're wanting to do is change this so that it opens up over time. So I go into here. This is what's known as a high cut frequency because you're cutting all of the high frequencies. So I select this. And this automation line is just to show you what is happening over time. So yeah, so that's just a little example. I'm actually going to quickly open the other project that I made the other day because it's got a slightly better example of of a dance track. So I think it was, I believe it was new demo. This is the one that I did. I'll just save that as newer demo. Doesn't matter. So the other class, I was showing them how I think I started with this. It's just one little bleep note, and then went into this track and found, so I hit B, that brings up that's a shortcut. If you hit B on your keyboard, it will bring up all of the track's effects and the EQ. And I essentially added a delay. And delay plugin is essentially an instrument that allows you to repeat the information that's going into it. So if I turn it off just now, it's just going to be, you just hear it once. If I then add this delay, and what allows you to determine how frequent that repetition of the actual sound is you basically double click onto the actual effect. You come into